Hello everyone, Ensign Tech here. Today is going to be my first review on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. I'm not going to list all the specs in this review because by now most people should have known what the specs are in the Note 8. I'm just going to go over my experience with the Note 8 for the past week or so, day-to-day living with the Note 8, and how it compares to my previous phone S8 Plus and the iPhone 7 Plus. Display. That 6.3-inch display that Samsung put out, it's beautiful. Because for me, I use my phone under the sun almost every single day when I'm walking to work. And this display gets super bright at 1.2K nits, which is one of the brightest screen out in the market at the moment, at least compared to phone display. I honestly didn't believe Samsung could have made a better display than the current S8 Plus, but they are still able to do it. And I have nothing to say other than it is the best display. And with the Infinity Edge that they announced on the S8 Plus, they made it even better on the Note 8 because it's less curvy, if that make any sense. They try to make it less subtle so there's more realistic. It does feel much bigger than just a 0.1-inch difference. So for the build of the Note 8, if anyone has ever used or tried the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, it will feel extremely similar, other than it does feel much heavier in my opinion, which is, I think it's a good thing because it adds more of a premium feel to the phone. And also, it will feel less comfortable in the hand due to the fact that it's more squarish now and sharper corners, and it's not round as the S8 or the S8 Plus. But to me, overall, this is one of the best hand feeling phone you can buy. For the camera, the Note 8 has pretty much the same sensor as the S8 Plus and the S8. The only difference this time, it adds a secondary camera, and it's a zoom lens, pretty much 2x zoom, just like the iPhone 7 Plus. But the only difference this time, what Samsung did to the software, it's optimized for the portrait, or for the iPhone it's portrait, but the Samsung it's live focus. So there's a slider at the bottom where you could slide left to right, where you could adjust the blur effect. But for most folks out there that just use their smartphones for social media, food pictures, selfies, the camera will do you just fine. It's like one of the best camera. It's right up there with the iPhone 8 Plus, so you have nothing to worry about it. Your food's gonna look amazing. And for the selfie camera, it's much better this line, at least for me, from the 7 Plus. It looks more realistic and even have a bit of portrait effect, but you have nothing to disappoint about. For the performance, this phone definitely feel faster than any other phone I use, but that's not saying much because every new phone always feel faster right out the box. But it's definitely faster than my iPhone 7 Plus and the S8 Plus. Maybe it's the 6 gigs of RAM or better optimized Samsung Experience 8.5, but most likely it's the 6 gigs of RAM that helps a lot of the Samsung bloat or skin. Most people call it bloat. But nowadays, performance shouldn't be your main thing in mind because most, even mid-tier phones in 2017, like OnePlus One, Oppo, Huawei, these companies show pretty much any mid-ranger or high-end phone can give you a smooth experience. Not like back then when Android was still pretty shitty, that it lags like crazy if you don't buy the latest. But nowadays not the case. So, and where you most notice the performance is when you play games that are intensely graphic, like racing games or GTA. Or for me, mostly because I was using a Samsung dock DeX and it performed much smoother, apps open faster than my S8, and that's one of the reason I got the Note 8, but also other features like S Pen, but we'll go over that later on. But as for performance, everything is as you expected from our flagship. As for battery life, this is one of the big topic or the biggest disappointment that most people have when they heard about the Note 8 only had 3300 milliamps, which is smaller than the S8 Plus. But as you know, most people that cares about that milliamp figure, it's because Androids are not that optimized in their battery life. But if you look at the iPhone, for example, even they have like small battery life, they will still have a long standby time. That doesn't mean when you're using it lasts long, but it does translate to better optimized means better battery life. Doesn't mean smaller battery has a smaller battery life. Well, it does, but not the way we think about it. So I would say that my Note 8 has better battery life or similar to my S8 Plus that remembers. So as far as I can tell, it lasts me the whole day. If you're looking to buy a Note 8 and you're afraid of buying it because the battery life, there's nothing to worry about, because Samsung did a really good job of optimizing the software for the Note 8. One of the biggest selling point for me, the Note 8, is the S Pen. For me, S Pen is kind of hard to explain to someone who never owned or used an S Pen, because most people think an S Pen is just a stylus to replace your finger. That is technically true, but for me, Samsung has been doing this for a while. Samsung has been improving the S Pen experience year after year with every single new release, and that makes Samsung really know their own software, at least S Pen wise, because if you look at any other Android offering, there's not a single device that offers the same functionality as the S Pen. Yes, there is one, which is the LG Stylo, but that's a mid tier and not a high end, so we can't really compare that. They're apple and oranges. So at this moment, if you need an S Pen, there is no other phone that gives you the same experience. So for that high price point, I get it, Samsung need to make money, but it's kind of ridiculous. But still, there's no other choice. You're stuck with it. And for me, I use the S Pen every day because I need the off-screen memo where I pull my pen out, the phone is off, and I just scribble, write down note what I need, a checklist, everything I need. And I think this is great because you always need a pen and you don't have one. But if you don't need a pen, or if you had an S8 Plus and you never really wanting a pen, then there's no reason to upgrade. Samsung Note 8, and I think the phone, it's the best phone of the year, and it pretty much gave you everything that you wanted in a phone with little to no compromise. Consider you're paying for it. So anyways, this is Ensign Tech. See you guys next time.